Morning and welcome to a different kind of show this morning. Not exactly unboxing, but I want to show you the wonderful cookbooks I found at yard sales. Um, there's quite a few of them, and I had a little struggle this morning because, of course, the cat owns all boxes. But I've got that under control thanks to cat treats. And we're almost ready to roll. Hi, Howard, in the chat room. Okay, these cats, it reminds me I forgot to open a can for them. I have two cats, or one and a half, since one of them thinks that I'm only good for feeding her and I'm not allowed to touch her. Okay, and here we are in beautiful downtown Crestline, and I'm too warm already. It's going to be a scorcher today. Get that sweater off. It's okay, sweetie. I didn't throw it at you. She says, yeah, I know, but you haven't opened my can. Let's do that so the kitties will settle down while we get started. Come on, guys. I got a can for you. Oh, yes. Yes, dear. Look out. Ah, kitties. All right. Now, let's see. I have on top the ones that really don't sing to me. Well, maybe this one, the Pampered Chef. Years ago, I was able to buy a few of their gadgets, but really, their recipes are pretty darn good. You need to never hesitate to make changes to suit your taste. The food you cook is yours. Some of these are rather, well, they're all designed to tell you which Pampered Chef gadgets you need to prepare the food. And they sell Pampered Chef gadgets at Pampered Chef parties, kind of like Tupperware, but much more expensive, if you can believe that. I tried selling Tupperware once. I ended up with a lot of Tupperware at a discount, but not much money. Then there's Weight Watchers 5 and under. I think I might either give this away or put it on eBay for $1. I don't need to watch my weight. I need to gain weight. 5 points value or less. I don't do points. I just eat. And I'm seeing doctors and getting tested and all that stuff. The latest was a medication for stomach ulcers. Didn't work out. So I'm going to get Gaviscon because I remembered when my son had ulcers, that's what his doctor recommended, and it seemed to work. And you don't need a prescription. But since I have decent health insurance, that's a minus. My copay for prescriptions is very low. All right, and here's quick and healthy holiday favorites from Prevention. Prevention is a magazine for people who are interested in health. So this one might be a keeper. Chocolate souffle, turkey and rice bake, cheesecake tart. Now you're talking my language. So this one just might be a keeper. The Light Guide to Fitness from Wishbone Dressings. So, of course, all it isn't just exercises, though. It has quick tricks, exercises you can do anywhere, like while sitting in a chair, stuff like that. Very similar to what the chiropractor told me to do to get my back happier. Hi, Jason. Hi, Witta. Um, the main thing is to get moving and keep moving. And I don't particularly uh, pay attention to whether a dressing is light. I pay attention to whether I like it. Okay, here we go. A Lose Weight Naturally cookbook. Well, that certainly is not for me. I'm down to 80 pounds and getting desperate to put on some weight, or at least quit losing. But it's natural stuff, none of that uh, chemicals, artificial sweeteners. Oh, hi, Jim, in the chat room. We're filling up this morning. Now, these are primarily yard sales finds. There are two or three that different people gave me because they found out I was cooking. I don't want to lose weight, and yet most of the specialty cookbooks are to lose weight. This here, Lose Weight Naturally, by the editors of Prevention magazine. So it's kind of a companion to um, this one, The Holiday Favorites. America's Favorite Recipes, a collection of America's favorite recipes presented by Robert M. Burns. It's a famous celebrity cookbook. Robert M. Burns, recognized as one of America's leading salespeople over the past decade. Oh, he's listed in Who's Who in the World, personalities of the world, and Who's Who in industry and finance. Let me tell you something about Who's Who. I'm in several different Who's Who books. Who's Who in American high school students, Who's Who in American university professors. It isn't hard to get into Who's Who. They're trying to sell you a book by putting your name in it. Oh, Jason says, well, more doctors recommend Camel cigarettes than any other brand. Actually, the ad I saw on Facebook was more doctors smoke Camel cigarettes. And it wasn't that stupid, Jason. At one time, before penicillin, cigarette smoke, well, tobacco Sorry, I got to get hand lotion. My hands are dry and I'm handling books. So I got to rub it in and wipe my hands real good before I handle books again. Before penicillin, one of two treatments for tuberculosis, a lung infection, was tobacco smoke. The other one was to severely isolate in a super sanitized environment and eat lots of fruits and vegetables. Oh, Jason has the camel advertisement. Oh, I kind of like the ad. The I'd walk a mile for a camel. When I was young, I did a lot of walking. Anyway, this one here is a collection of recipes put together by a salesman. Paul Newman's salad. I don't see a copyright date. And there's a little like index card put in as a bookmark. It's one of those cut out of the newspaper ads. Chicken and rice bake made with Campbell's soup and well, anyway, a can of onions. A can of Campbell's condensed new cream of chicken and broccoli soup, and a can of Durkee French fried onions, those dry onion rings they sell in cans, and chicken, of course. See, it isn't a copy. They cut it out and glued it onto an index card. There's a section in the back where you can write notes. Oh, there's a section at the end of each chapter for writing notes. The contents doesn't indicate the sections, but there's celebrity favorites, there's microwave foods, there's beverages. Paul Newman's salad and a big old dash and gazpacho. So it's the dip in the center is what we call gazpacho, a bunch of fruits and or veggies blended together but not cooked, served cold. Angie Dickinson's honeymoon sandwich. I remember Angie Dickinson. She played policewoman, and her sidekick got famous, but I forgot his name. And let's see, they've got chicken vegetable soup, House of George Burns. In other words, George Burns didn't cook it, his cook did. Woody Allen's Chinese steamed bass. All kinds of goodies, casseroles, even bread recipes. This one I think just might be a keeper, or I might send it to Glenn of Glenn and Friends Cooking. He's on YouTube and people send him cookbooks. But he's Canadian. Well, yeah, he does some American recipes. And what he does is thank people on YouTube for sending him the books. This might be one to send him. Might be right up his alley. All right, come on, books, get out of the way. or it might be a keeper. Some of these I might put on eBay for $1 plus shipping because I have a lot of books now. Secrets of fat-free cooking. Well, this isn't relevant to me at this time. Low Fat and Fat Free by Sandra Woodruff RD. Over 150 fat-free and low-fat recipes from breakfast to dinner, appetizers and desserts. 1995. Well, the fat-free and low-fat were a fad, you might say a craze for a while. Carrot rice casserole, cauliflower au gratin, delicious potato salad, nut and honey dip. You see, the problem with fat free and low fat is that fat doesn't make you fat. You'll get a lot fatter eating carbohydrates, sugar, starch, bread, crackers. I keep hoping that's true, that if I just eat lots more bread and crackers, I'll put on some weight. And of course, they are the fat-free fanatics are responsible for our milk and milk products going so low fat that it's like drinking chalk. If I can't get whole milk, I'll get the low fat and add some whipping cream, the carton of cream, or half and half to it. I'm going to smoke up a storm this morning. So I'll put this on eBay. This one might be $2 or $3 plus shipping. Set it down and get to the real treasures. Real treasures. Oh, this one's falling apart. I have to be really careful. Ida Bailey Allen's cookbook. The little price tag says 35 cents. Published by Perma Books, Books to Keep. I'm reading the back. Perma Books combine the virtues of handiness for the pocket and durability for the library shelf. See, there was a time when pockets, even women's pockets, especially on aprons, were big enough to hold things, and things didn't fall out of them. Oh, Jason used to have the Hardy Boys. I loved the Hardy Boys. People wanted me to read Nancy Drew. I liked the Hardy Boys. Oh, I forgot. This is really a magazine. Celebrate a special collection of recipes for unforgettable holiday feasts from the archives of Gourmet Magazine. The front cover is just plain paper. The back cover is glossy and in better shape. Gourmet Holiday, a present for you. No, I never subscribed to Gourmet Magazine, but somehow I'm pretty sure this is a yard sale find where they said, oh, you can have that for free. Now, let's get back to Ida Bailey Allen's cookbook, Delicious Meals at Low Cost. It's an old one. No zip code. 14 West 49th Street, New York, the publisher's address. Zip codes came along around 1964 or thereabouts. I don't see a date in it, but I know it's old. partly because it's falling apart. And I just don't see any date on it, but 35 cents even for a little. Here we go. There's the date. 1948. Copyright 1940, 1942, but this edition, this printing was done in 1948. It has a lot of writing, not just how to cook, not just the recipe, but and it goes on. For example, money saving veal recipes. Order a roast from the leg or loin and have it boned. Fill in the cavity with onion mint stuffing and fasten into shape with toothpicks. Crisscross together with white string. It has to be white string, guys. Oh, hi, Oswald. Welcome. Let me type. I'll lose the page, but that's okay. You get the idea. It isn't just mix up these ingredients. Oh, Oswald is in the middle of 5-yard sales. Using COVID as an excuse not to mingle. Okay. And the instructions are quite good. Many recipes don't really tell you what you need to know. They assume that you know something. Like the chapter on fish begins. The reason many persons do not like fish is because it tastes and smells fishy, or because it is usually fried and often dry and chippy. Be sure the fish is really fresh. Then do not always fry it, but cook by some other method that will not smell up the house. There are many ways given in this book to cook fish that will make it appetizing. Fish is a real money saver. Well, maybe in 1948 it was. Lately, fish has cost more than beef, and beef is out of this world. Fish is a real money saver, especially when purchased in season. Study the fish of your locality. Try the unfamiliar varieties. They will be lower in price. Serve fish at least twice a week. It is a protein food, a real meat alternative. Remember, in 48, the war had just ended. There was still a shortage of beef, pork, and lamb. It is a real meat alternative rich in vitamins and an important source of iodine and other minerals. Yes, even in the late 40s, many people who lived inland had goiters, an enlarged thyroid gland in the throat here, because they didn't get enough iodine in their diet. Now, that's one reason why they started adding iodine to salt. Iodized table salt. Fish is as good for breakfast or lunch as for dinner. Try fish chowder for supper on a cold day, or fish salad for a refreshing summer dinner. When properly cooked, fish is even more easily digested than meat. I can attest to that. It's really hard for me to digest a good steak, although I keep trying because I love a good steak. But fish, no problem, as long as it's fresh and not spoiled. With bones carefully removed, it is an excellent food for children. In cases of strict money saving, fish may be served in combination with the less expensive vegetables or cereals. You will find a number of recipes for such combinations in this book. Yes, these simple foods are favorites in some of our most luxurious hotels, and it tells you how to prepare fish for cooking, like remove the scale, how to skin a fish, how to bone a fish, how to remove fish odor from your hands. Rub your hands with salt and wash with plenty of hot water. Or you could wear gloves. I thought of the gloves, it isn't in the book. To cook fresh frozen fish fillets, to cook fresh frozen shellfish. And it talks about broiled fish, poached fish, boiled fish, baked fish, oven fried fish, pressure cooking fish, and pan fried fish. This is a treasure. More for reading than for cooking, to learn how to cook. It's dirty and beat up, and the cellophane wrapper around the cover is coming off like crazy, but it's a treasure. As you know, I'm learning to cook, so this one, if I had any room in the kitchen, I would keep it in there. I have to get those shelves put up in the kitchen. It's a tiny kitchen, and I need the shelves because there are almost no drawers or cupboards. So let's put this up. Over here. Maybe next week I'll gather together all my cat books, including, if I can find it, poems written by cats. This one I'm definitely keeping. So Quick with new Bisquick. Recipes for things to make with Bisquick. Pineapple upside down cake, muffins, all kinds of goodies. I'm still pointing it at the monitor, not the camera. Oh well. Strawberry shortcake, pancakes, waffles, biscuits, dumplings. It's got that spiral binder thing like a notebook. And it's beat up. But new Bisquick. Uh-oh, I've got a couple there. Here we go. Pages stuck together. From Betty Crocker, of course. 1967. General Mills Incorporated. All kinds of recipes, including how to make maple rum flavored syrup. In a small saucepan, heat 1 cup maple syrup and 1 tablespoon butter to boiling. Remove from heat and blend in half a teaspoon rum flavoring. How about just rum? Serve warm. How to make honey butter, lemon syrup, sausage ball syrup, Hawaiian pineapple sauce, all kinds of stuff. This I'm planning to cook some of these recipes. So this one also goes in a special place. Oh, wow, have I got books. What's this one? Oh, not a cookbook. Hoyle's, I think it's Hoyle's. Official Rules of Card Games. Problem with card games, unless it's solitaire, is that you have to have someone to play with you. No, it isn't Hoyle's. But anyway, 54th edition. It is Rules of Card Games. But we're doing cookbooks today. Set that down. What's this? Fancy butter cookies and pastries. This came with a gadget called New Miro Cookie Press. From the test kitchens of Miro Aluminum Company and American Dairy Association. Here's how to use the Miro press. So instead of just rolling out your dough and cutting it or just plopping it on the cookie sheet with a spoon, you use a cookie press. How to care for it, measure ingredients, etc. And finally, you get to cookie decorating. Cookies taste so much better. Oh, butter cookies. Butter is important as a recipe ingredient, particularly in baking cookies. It's the vital ingredient for distinctive flavor and long-lasting freshness. So they are not fans of Crisco. Anyway, this is more a collector's item than recipes that I would use. After all, the bag of chocolate chips has an excellent recipe for Toll House cookies. And I have the family recipe called Mrs. Cole's cookies. They're just a basic sugar cookie, but they don't rise, they stay flat. Oh, hi, Sandra. Okay, which one is Jim? Oh, I see. Jason just sent the link to Sandra and Jim, I think. I have a typed hi, Oswald. I should do that. I think that was a link for Matchbox cars. I'm smoking too much and I don't care. But let's get one of my fancy Dunhills while I still have about a pack and a half left. Thanks to Gil at Cardinal Sin. Ah. Okay. What's this one? Osterizer. Cooking with a blender. Let's see if this has a date. 1966. All the info about the blender, take it apart for cleaning, what the buttons and switches do. Osterizer kitchen magic. All kinds, even recipes for salads. Well, I don't think my blender is as old as this, but it is an older one. Getting down to a book about coins and Carlos Castaneda. Now, Phil Philip K. Dick was fascinated by Carlos Castaneda's books, even though he suspected that Castaneda's medicine man friend, Don Juan, did not exist. Anyway, this is a very recent edition of books that came out in the 70s. They're not cookbooks. Ah, here we go. The Fanny Farmer Cookbook, sort of the gold standard for real cooks and chefs. It's a big, heavy hardcover. This one is the 11th edition from Little Brown and Company, revised by Wilma Lord Perkins. The first copyright listed is 1896, and the newest copyright in this copy is 1965. It even has the Library of Congress catalog card number. All kinds of goodies, cooking methods, preparing ingredients, seasonings, herbs or herbs, wine in cooking, menu making, beverages, hors d'oeuvres, appetizers. Is there a difference between hors d'oeuvres and appetizers? I don't know. I'll have to read that. Okay, where would that be? Page 45. It is, it's actually 43. Oh, yeah, that is a 3. The old type font is kind of weird. Hors d'oeuvres as the first course. Hors d'oeuvres platter. Oh, serving interesting appetizers as the first course for dinner or luncheon has become increasingly popular, which means that the hostess, who is also the cook, it's okay for men to cook, may prepare this part of the meal well in advance. It may take the place of the soup course, or for a more elaborate meal, soup can be served after the hors d'oeuvres. I don't see how that's different from appetizers. So, page 46. Appetizers. Cocktails before dinner need only the simplest accompaniments, but they should be perfect of their kind. Olives, salted nuts, popcorn, or potato chips are good with drinks. Unless the nuts are freshly toasted, heat them in the oven long enough to make them crisp. Homemade wafers and pastries are a special treat. Okay, I kind of get the idea. She's saying appetize the drinks, the cocktails that you have before dinner. Appetizers go instead of or right before the soup. But in many parts of Asia, China, Hong Kong, etc., soup is last at the end of the meal. And they think we're weird for having soup first. I'm getting to the bottom of the box. What is this? Oh, never mind. It's a card game book for Contract Bridge. This is an empty notebook. Not a cookbook. Come on. I'm running out of room. I'm going to have to put them all back in the box. Okay, what's this? Sports card counterfeit detector. Oh, this one's. It is a cookbook. It's called Generations from Our Family to Your Family. Now, again, it's got this. Well, this one's plastic. It's a binder dedicated to all cooks from the New Life Center in Rialto, California. That's a church. It lists the days and times of their services. So it's probably recipes from members of the church. It has a zip code, so it isn't terribly old, but I'm not finding a date. At the back of the book are ads. One is about fundraisers. You can use these cookbooks for fundraising. And they're selling household hints that even your grandmother probably didn't know. This is not exactly an ad. Rubbing alcohol will remove ballpoint pen ink marks. Candles chilled for 24 hours in refrigerator will burn longer and not drip. Baking soda on a damp cloth will remove grime and grease from glass on oven door. And more and more and more. Yeah, they are. They have a lot of hints here. Terms used in cooking. Not bad. Hors d'oeuvres, tart, salty, or crisp foods served as appetizers. Appetizer, a small serving of food served before or as the first course of a meal. It even has a calorie counter. Fundcraft, personalized community cookbooks. They're selling cookbooks. And there's even coupons. Save 75 cents on Smokies. Or on Louis Rich. They expired in 1996. More ads. Louis Rich, Oscar Mayer, Solo Party Cups coupon. It's amazing. This might be something. All right, that is not a cookbook. I'm getting to the bottom here. Got to start putting things back in the box. Some of these, after I've tried cooking them, some of these recipes will be modified to the way I make them and put in my cookbook. By the way, you cannot copyright the list of ingredients in a recipe, but the instructions are copyrighted, and any extra discussion is also copyrighted. You cannot just copy someone's entire recipe without permission, but you can use the list of ingredients. These are just Xerox copies from a cookbook, and I'm not seeing what cookbook, but it's crispy drumsticks and turkey enchiladas. Okay. Old-fashioned soda fountain milkshakes. Delicious way to lose weight with Food Source One concentrated food tablets. So this is basically an ad, a little pamphlet selling their food tablets. Cute. Art of Thai cooking. Tied together with string. Smart Cook Thai Cookery School. Chiang Mai Smart cook.com. Yeah, from Thailand. I hope it's in English. Yes, it is. Well, I have a problem with Thai cooking in that they use a lot of hot peppers, and I cannot tolerate hot peppers. I could leave them out if I make it myself, or just add a bell pepper. Ah, the taste of tradition from none such mincemeat. I once asked a friend to buy me mincemeat for my Christmas cookies. I didn't specify that. She was shopping for my groceries when I couldn't get out, and I put mincemeat on the list. Well, she looked for it in the meat department. It's actually the meat in mincemeat is apples, chunks of apple and some raisins, and they're basically pickled, cooked and pickled in a sweet sauce. They come in a jar near baked goods. This is awesome. It's from Borden Consumer Affairs Department. Things to make with mincemeat. And it's from 1983. That doesn't seem so old to me, but I guess it is. It's over, let's see, 45 years ago. It even has a coupon for 25 cents off 2 boxes of none such condensed mincemeat, which comes in a cube shape in a cardboard box lined with plastic or something so it won't leak. They used to use wax on things like that. They'd make a cardboard container and impregnate the cardboard with wax. Paraffin. I gotta watch it. In England, paraffin is what they call paraffin, is what we call kerosene, a liquid fuel for kerosene lamps. Paraffin wax. Tasteless, odorless, not quite candle wax. And even milk cartons were just a heavy paper impregnated with wax. I think I liked that better than the current plastic stuff. That went out. On the lighter side, with carnation non-fat dry milk. No thank you. Non-fat milk in any form just turns me off. Let's put these in the box. Getting to the bottom here. Culinary classics. Elegant dining on the go with California style Mexican fiestas compiled by. Let me light this. Compiled by Phyllis Howell Chairman. Winnie Books, Wini Books. Oh, that's Winnie Brooks, excuse me. Assistant chairman. So Phyllis Howell is the chairman of something. Oh, of the Southwestern. Okay. I don't get this. Southwestern FMCA. CA must be California. Bus nuts. And it has a picture of a nut like nut and bolt with a bus inside it. Oh, I guess they are nuts about taking buses. And this is committee members dining elegantly on the go. Old black and white photograph. At a picnic table with the bus behind them. Haha. Okay. Table of contents. I'm looking for a date. I really think people miss something when they fail to put the date in a book. This, of course, is sort of a California Mexican style of food, and it is not all what you think of, like chili or enchiladas or tacos. There's all kinds of foods. Lots of cheese, of course, lots of tomatoes, wine, fresh fruits, bread and rolls, how to make your own bread. Interesting. And here's recipes. Very original title. It has these tabs to help you find the section you want. Galen Parker Evans' Incredible Edibles. Bon appetit. This cookbook contains my favorite kitchen-tested, family and friend-approved recipes. Some have been handed down through several generations. Others are newly found favorites. Still others are the results of my own years of experimentation and practice. I sincerely hope that you will enjoy these recipes as much as I have enjoyed creating and compiling them. Bon appetit. So what's the name? Oh, Galen Parker Evans. Okay. There's a photo of the family at a counter with the food. It's kind of hard to see. It's dark. Anyway, it's how to be a gourmet cook without using alcohol. Substitutions for wine and liquor in cooking. Chicken broth, water, vinegar, liquid drained from canned mushrooms. Let me tell you something I learned from Chef Jean Pierre on YouTube. If you put vanilla extract in your cakes or cookies or whatever, your beverages, it has more alcohol than brandy. Almost done, almost done. Sunset Cookbook for Entertaining. Sunset Magazine. Date 1971. Yeah, I'll definitely look through these. Oh, and the last book is a gardening book, not a cookbook. We're done. We got them all. I suppose here and there I will make a recipe from one of these books and then make a cooking video out of the what I succeed in. I might even dare to make videos of failures. I've noticed that on Glenn and Friends Cooking, so once in a while there's a failure, a fail, and he'll tell you up front it's a fail, but show you the video of how he made it. Oh, hi, Moonlight. Moonlight just came in. You missed all the crazy books I found mostly at yard sales. I'll pack these up later. Some of those books will go on eBay or something to find good homes for them, but some I'm keeping, especially the Fanny Farmer cookbook. It's a classic among chefs and cooks and people learning to cook. Apparently, it started in the 1800s. The earliest copyright date on my copy is 1896, but of course it's a much later reprint. Got itches on the eyebrows and the hair. Okay, we are now almost an hour in. That's a lot of books. I will be making cooking videos as I struggle to gain weight. So if you want to lose weight, my recipes are not for you. Although in my little cookbook, a cookbook for the kitchen challenged, some of those recipes are really basic, low fat. Nah. But variety is important. For example, I get the cottage cheese that has all the fat. But you could make the same dish with low fat cottage cheese if you're concerned about it. But basically, most low fat foods make up for the absence of fat with extra sugar. So you're not going to lose weight. And eating fat is in many ways good for you. I just got coffee on my nose. I'm talented. Anyway, I'm going to start using a mortar and pestle to grind things. I haven't figured out what I want to grind yet. Maybe spices. Some recipes say to grind, oh, well, peppercorns, of course, but I have a pepper mill. Some spices that are like seeds. Uh, you want to just bonk them a little to get the fragrance going. Oh, Jim is here. I missed him. I didn't see him in chat. Yeah, and I've seen people who are definitely made to be a little stocky. If they lose the weight, they look awful. Now, maybe they could lose 5 or 10 pounds, but these dumb doctors say, well, you're 5 feet tall, you should weigh this. What about the size and shape of your bones and how heavy your bones are? What about, look at all the family members, all the generations. We aren't meant to look like Twiggy. And if you're too young to know that reference, she was a fashion model who became wildly popular in the 1960s. And she was so skinny she looked like a skeleton. Anorexia became a thing then. People who didn't realize how unhealthy they were because they had deliberately lost too much weight. In my case, I know that I'm too skinny and I need to put some meat on my bones. I'm really way too skinny. What is that? Oh, it's one of my hairs. My hair is falling out. Yeah. And look at paintings like Modigliani, the beautiful women that he painted were what we call voluptuous. They had boobs and hips and, they were round. Women should be round. Men, well, they might not look round, but they do need to have some muscle on them and a little fat. These guys who race bicycles or run marathons quite often look like they should quit running or quit bicycling and eat some food. And you know what so many of them die from? Heart failure, because they're so skinny and so stressed. But they love what they do. You can't make them stop. I'm a bit on the slim side anyway, but right now I'm severely underweight and it's critical. That's why I'm 4 inches shorter than I used to be. My bones need more nourishment. Yeah. Hi. Okay, moonlight. Yeah, I could probably model clothing, except I'm too short. They want women who are 5'8". I used to be 5'4", and now I'm 5 feet. But I'm doing the stretching exercises that the chiropractor gave me, so that will help to loosen my spine so I'm not quite as short and my back doesn't hurt quite as much. But I've got some smushed discs. I keep type writing when I talk to doctors, I write T7, the seventh thoracic vertebra. It's actually 12, and I know that, but my brain keeps saying 7. Yeah, stretches are very important, and they're easy, they are low impact. Things like sitting in a chair and bending over to put your head between your knees and your hands on your feet, or leaning back, which is easier in Great Granny's rocking chair. Believe me. When I lean back, I fear that the chair will fall over, but Great Granny's rocking chair is supposed to go back. Arms up in the air and back. It can relieve the ouchies. An inversion table, oh, no, I can't do that. And I might try a little, I forgot the word again. Hanging on a bar, just hanging, not doing push ups, to stretch out my muscles and my spine. There's a word for that. And I've forgotten it again. I almost had it. Some people get it. You'll see it in hospitals where someone has a broken leg and that leg, the foot is held up in the air with an apparatus that actually kind of puts tension or pressure. Tension, I think. And some people with really bad backs have to hook this thing up every time they lie down to sleep, where it stretches them head to foot. A pair of rings to dangle from, yeah. I had a really comfortable gadget that the chiropractor sold me. You put it over the top of a door and you hang on to it and get your feet off the floor. But I broke it. Traction. Thank you, Moonlight. That's exactly it. A little traction really helps. But I'm not going to do the thing where I'm lying in bed and there's traction things attached to me. First off, I'd never be able to get up when the cats start having a hissy fight. Second, I don't lie flat. I can't. Many reasons why not. I always used to sleep either on my side or on my stomach, and now I know why. Like when I was lying flat to get a CT scan, when it was over, I needed help to get up, and I was in pain the whole time. And you have to hold still, but my legs really wanted to kick because of the pain in my back. Oh well. Anyway, part of the key for me to gaining weight is fatty meats, but they won't make you fat. The fat contains all kinds of nutrients. It isn't like table sugar where it's just sugar. It, whether the fat's from a vegetable, a plant or an animal, it has nutrients other than just sugar. Oh yeah, moonlight. Yeah, lying flat and motionless for imaging. Yeah, it's a crippler for you. I've found that if someone just holds my hand, I can get myself up. And if that isn't an option, move my feet off the table and get one arm under me and turn sideways. And then all I have to do is get my torso up, and having my feet dangling gives me better balance. But it can be really a chore. I At one point I just got rid of the bed frame and put my mattresses on the floor, and I still slept on my side. But it was easier to roll off a mattress on the floor than to get off a bed that's elevated. Now I use a recliner chair because I found that I'm better off if my torso is a little bit elevated. Moonlight, you also suffer what I suffer, so you understand. Well, let's hope the stretching exercises and just gentle traction can give us relief. The chiropractor, I haven't been there in quite a while, but he's the gentle kind, no cracking your spine. He has a thing that's kind of like a pile driver. It goes boop. It isn't, I barely feel it. It isn't that bad. Unless it hits an ouchy spot, then it's kind of, uh-oh, owie. I had to have my neck adjusted, which really frightens me because the previous chiropractor would whack my head to one side. I had to tell him I just can't handle that. I can't tolerate it. Too frightening. Well, this guy, he does a little rubbing on the muscles and gets his piston thing, not pile driver, piston thing. He holds it and goes like this, and it goes boop. Really fixed my neck because it was really bad. I could feel that the bones in my neck were not aligned properly. Anyway, yeah, I finally got decent medical insurance and a better doctor. The local clinic just wanted to give me a flu shot, and they sent me to a psychiatrist as if I didn't know that I'm too skinny, as if I liked being twiggy. Oh, and I've given up on nutritionists. They want to put me on a plant based diet with little or no meat, no cow's milk, no wheat, uh, no rice. Uh, no, I can digest wheat and dairy just fine. It's meat that I can't digest, especially beef. And I love a good steak, but it hates me. Once in a while, I'll have a small amount of a good quality beef, and I mean a tiny amount, not even a quarter of a pound. And then, say, a good steak or roast. And if there's leftovers, then I'll make fajitas or something like that, or put a few strips on top of a garden salad. Bacon cheeseburgers. Now you're talking my language, Moonlight. I like French fries, but since I don't get out much, I had to learn how to make them. And oh yes, plant-based oils are demonized. You know, corn oil, safflower oil, salad oil. Um, yeah, they're probably bad, but in moderation. Oh, hot fudge sundaes. Back when Bob's Big Boy, I think they're still in business, but there isn't one around here. When my son was young, we'd go to Bob's Big Boy and have a cheeseburger followed by a chocolate fudge ice cream cake. Oh, heaven. And when he was very little, we could order one meal and share it. Uh, uh, wow, it was a chocolate cake sandwich with vanilla ice cream in the middle, drowned in hot chocolate fudge with whipped cream and a cherry on top. And I was blessed my son didn't like the cherries. I got to have it. Well, psychiatrists, Oswald, I agree with you that they're not the best. I call them pill pushers. They have a pill for everything. Chiropractors, if you're careful and you find a good one, oh, they're angels from heaven. Peanut oil is wonderful if you are okay with it. Oh, home fries? Well, I've kind of, for many things, I use grapeseed oil. It doesn't add any extra flavors like many of the vegetable oils do. But lately, because I'm eating a lot of bacon, I've been frying things in bacon grease. Now, for French fries, that I don't deep fat fry them. Biscuits and gravy, grits, cheesy eggs, and fresh sausage. Oh, you're making me hungry too, Moonlight. Jason's hungry. Deep fried mushrooms and marinara sauce for lunch. Oh, that sounds good. But my my stomach is inflamed. I guess it has an ulcer, but the doctor who did my colonoscopy 4 years ago says it's still inflamed. Don't eat tomatoes. I do love tomatoes, but lately they have been bothering me. So I'm going with white sauces. But to make French fries, the potatoes actually from a real potato, you're you cut your potatoes extra big because they shrink. Sometimes I just use a grater and make oh come on, hash browns. But if I'm making French fries, I use a regular oil and add some bacon grease to it because the quantity you need is quite a lot of oil. But I'm not deep fat frying them. I get an inch or two in the bottom of a very big tall pot. So if anything goes wrong, for example, if you get your oil too hot, it can catch fire. It's going to stay in the pot. My great big soup pot with a little oil in the bottom. And I fry them. I fry the potatoes uh, till they quit bubbling because they're expelling water. No matter how carefully you dry them before cooking, they still have some water. And then I take them out, put them on a cookie sheet, and bake them. What's an ulcer, Scott? Oswald. My tummy is unhappy. I tried a prescription that the doctor recommended, but I was getting side effects. So I'm going to, unless the doctor has some other recommendation, I'm going to get Gaviscon. It's over the counter, which means that my insurance doesn't pay for it. My copay on prescriptions is sinfully low. I mean, it's at most $3. But if Gaviscon works, and the reason I'm trying it is that when my son had an ulcer, that's what his doctor recommended. Just go buy some Gaviscon. I do love the pink stuff, though. Pepto-Bismol is awesome stuff. Anyway, Ulster, Scott. Oh, Ulster, a place in Scotland. Oswald's making a joke, and I didn't get it. I am probably about 1/4 Scottish. Uh, the DNA websites, like Ancestry and Heritage. Oh, it's My Heritage. They don't break it down that well. But yeah, I'm Scots, Welsh, Irish, and little English. I know something about my family tree because my brother spent years uh, tracing our ancestors. Rennies, Jim? I don't know what Rennies are. Uh, Antacid tablets. Okay. I never heard of those. I have some Tums, but I don't want a lot of extra calcium right now because of the kidney stones and gallstones. And for some reason, every store I've checked out, Rite Aid, Stater Brothers, the local market, you name it, I want Centrum Silver, the multivitamin. They're all either gummies or chewables. I don't want, well, I've found that I can swallow a gummy without keeping it in my mouth. I hate the chewables, they're chalky. I have some chewables. They'll have men's Centrum Silver in tablets that you swallow, but not women's. And anyway, I've finally settled for one a day, and once in a while I'll chew on a Centrum Silver. Yick. I couldn't find the gummies except in the one a day brand. Gummies, at least I can, if I have a big glass of water, I can swallow the darn thing. Uh, type. Can't type and talk at the same time. There, here we go. But this nutritionist, I give up. She calls it a Mediterranean diet, mostly plant based. No cow's milk, but yogurt and goat's milk are okay. I've never had goat's milk, but I do eat yogurt. Uh, no wheat, no milk, no cow's milk, and only tiny bits of meat. And that's a diet for losing weight, people. I don't need to lose weight. How far back has my brother traced us? A Greenland shark can live over 700 years. So it would be nice if we could trace some of our family trees that far back. He has traced it back at least to a man named Anaker the Forester, one of the officers in the army of William the Conqueror, 1066. That's when he invaded England and deposed the king. I think he killed the king, Harold the Lesser. Oh, hi, Philip Blair. You get around. Jason is traced back to the 1470s. Yeah, my foster ancestors are descended from Anaker the Forester. It's sad to say I haven't paid as much attention to our family tree as my brother, but we always seem to be the poor, indigent cousins of wealthy people. For example, my grandmother, my dad's mother, in around 1970 inherited $5,000 from a cousin she never met, one of the Long Island Dutch, a Van Brunt. So I'm part Dutch for sure. I would have mentioned my Rh negative blood to the nutritionist Oswald, but she's not a good listener. She kept stepping on me, talking over me. She had her ideas and didn't want to hear about what I need. Uh, and she didn't tell me anything I don't already know, but get this. I mentioned that I eat chicken livers. Oh, are they organic? I don't know. They're Foster Farms. Well, they have to come from organic chickens because toxins are concentrated in the liver. And non organic chickens eat a lot of toxins. Well, excuse me, but that's horse pucky. The liver does not store toxins, it processes them. And any yucky stuff that the chicken eats, any toxins, are either processed into something your body can actually use or excreted in urine and feces when you go to the toilet. Well, a Mediterranean diet is good if you aren't 35 pounds underweight, Philip. I need to gain weight and I need to do it fast. Oh, your cousins, Oswald, are only half Mormon? My ancestors on mom's side escaped from Salt Lake City. Unfortunately, they went to Idaho, which is even more Mormon than Utah. And they have two different brands of Mormonism and they hate each other. So they eventually escaped to Los Angeles. And their reasoning was that if they lived in a warmer climate, they would live longer. And my grandfather lived to be 88, and my grandmother lived to be 93. I probably have wealthy cousins. Well, I know of one, but they don't help their poor relations. Or if they do, it's never enough. It's like, okay, now I can have food for a week. What do I do when that's done? Oh, well, it's their money. They don't have to, they can do what they want with it. But boy, I often wish that I had come from the wealthy cousins. My ancestors were cousins of Abraham Lincoln, Daniel Boone, and the Long Island Dutch, who were most of them quite wealthy. The Mormons, not so much. My Mormon ancestors didn't get wealthy. Yeah, well, Philip, if it were just the Mediterranean diet, I could agree with you that it doesn't make you lose weight. But this nutritionist tweaked it, made changes. For example, everything low fat. I need fat. No fried food. Well, maybe fried food is bad for my stomach ulcer, although the literature doesn't really support that. Mormons, the ones I've known, used a lot of Bisquick and salad oil. The Mormon diet. I couldn't be a Mormon. I love my coffee. Coffee is sinful. Blue zone diet, Philip? I don't know. For example, a Mediterranean diet, Philip, has pasta. And this nutritionist said, no pasta. Cut it out entirely. It's made from wheat. It's bad for you. Well, excuse me, but humans have been eating wheat for millennia, thousands of years. The the Egyptians, the ancient Egyptians lived on beer, which was really more like liquid bread than what we call beer. It had all the grain still in it, whether it was wheat or rye or some other grain. Oh, Mediterranean diet is a blue zone diet. Okay, but what is a Mediterranean diet without pasta? Oh, and no rice. I need calories, as many as I can eat. And I am not going to go get an organic chicken from Trader Joe's just so I can have organic chicken liver. I think that's nuts. And it is not supported by the science. If we're going to follow the science, let's follow it. Anyway, the doctor who did my colonoscopy and endoscopy looked at my stomach 4 years ago, has this big sign in his office: let your food be your medicine. And he was horrified by, oh, organic whole milk, sure, that I like. But Philip, this nutritionist, said, and my nature focused doctor was just horrified when I went through all the details of this nutritionist's diet. He says, she's nuts. You drink as much milk as you want and add your protein powder to it. Well, Moonlight, what I've been doing has worked okay, except I can't seem to put on weight. But the doctor seems to think that if I can deal with the inflamed stomach, it isn't just one little spot that has an ulcer. The whole stomach is unhappy, that I can put on a little weight. I wouldn't mind getting obese at this point. I'm not giving up cow's milk. Yes, I like the organic kind better. Oh, and no eggs? She wanted me to give up eggs. Ha! She's nuts! No pasta, no milk, no eggs. I could have yogurt, but not milk. No, no, no. No, no. Now, I do love my fruits and veggies. And I have been watching these videos about the keto diet and the carnivore diet, and I'm like, yeah, I know fruits have a lot of sugar. I know that sweet corn is darn near impossible to digest, but oh, it tastes so good. And I have learned that Fritos are mixtilated. The corn is processed with an alkali, like, um, well, they used to use lye. Now they probably use baking soda. It makes it much easier to digest Fritos and tortilla chips and corn tortillas. The corn has been made more easily digestible. Oh, yeah, simethicone. I have simethicone. I have generic Gas X simethicone. I use it from time to time, and it warns you that it can cause constipation. Well, with what I experience every morning, I would love to be constipated for a change. Anyway, yeah, a true Mediterranean diet might be good for me, but uh, not what this woman was talking about. Oh, and of course, no plant based oils. Big no no. And I wouldn't overdo it. I have no respect for Crisco, even though I have a tub of it. But that's for an emergency candle if there's a long term power outage. And sometimes, if you want to grease a pan before you cook something, Crisco doesn't burn as easily as butter, and it doesn't add any flavors that you don't want. So it's kind of useful. Oswald is on the paleoconservative ketamine diet. Okay. Now remember, our ancient ancestors didn't have meat very often. They had to go out and kill something to get meat. They were gatherers more than hunters. They ate seeds and fruits and vegetables and roots. I love asparagus, artichokes. I like spinach, but it doesn't seem to like me. My idea of heaven is uh, a ravioli stuffed with cheese and why did I forget the word? Spinach. Cheese and spinach inside a ravioli. Uh, but it needs to have a sauce over it. And at this point in my life, I'm not so much into the red sauces like marinara. I'm more into the white sauces with cream and butter. Okay. My weight in the past was mainly from muscle mass and the fat that supported that muscle. My joints are hindering my activity, yeah. Uh, well, yeah, I've always had a very low amount of fat in my body, but I began to lose muscle recently. I've got to turn this around. As much as I love the pink stuff, it isn't good enough. Maybe if I drank the whole bottle every day. So I'm going to try Gaviscon because that's what my son's doctor recommended when he had ulcers, stomach ulcers. He actually got so bad he went to the emergency room. He thought he was having a heart attack. Oh, it's mainly my back that hinders my activity, my spine. But the stretching helps. Oswald says my great granduncle was the first asparagus farmer in the country in Michigan. And they pronounced it sparagus. Yeah, in a thick guttural German American accent. Yeah, well, just for fun, even though we knew how to pronounce it, my brother and I used to call it aspergrass, just for fun. Mm. Now, if you don't like asparagus, it's because you got it in a can. It's overcooked and mushy and bitter. Fresh asparagus, either steamed or boiled, but not too much, so that it's still crispy. Heaven. And what I've learned recently, just to make it easier to chew, is that you can take a peeler and peel off the strings on the stem. I don't do that because I think I need the fiber for my health. But if you don't like the texture of the stem, try peeling off the strings before you cook it. Water exercise, elastic bands. I don't do the water thing. I've had a problem. I can swim. I don't enjoy it. When I was very young and learning to swim, Mom tried to drown me. And my oldest brother, Rick, stopped her. She claimed she was teaching me to swim, by shoving my head underwater and not letting me come up for air. Yeah, I eat a lot of soup, and I'm learning to cook my own soup, Moonlight. Or I kind of cheated the other day. I had some leftover chicken and a can of soup, so I added the leftover chicken to the canned soup. Now, canned soup has a lot of salt, but in my case, that is not a bad thing. I have low blood pressure. Sometimes when I stand up, especially if I've been sitting for a long time, I get dizzy and I have to grab something to hold on to or I'll fall. Yeah, Moonlight, I've found doctors who understand that the patient is the final judge of what's working and what isn't. Isn't that awesome? Now, my GP is not, well, well, the best thing about him is he listens, encourages me to talk and tell him what's going on. Now, that's interesting. Personal trainers on a reality show deliberately put on 20 or 30 pounds of fat so they can lose it with their obese clients. Do you know that the boomerang, no, I'm sorry, yo yo effect is worse for your health than just being fat? To go up in weight and back down, up and down, up and down. That's really much worse than just being overweight. Well, I don't know about asparagus and Asperger's, but you never know, Oswald. Oh, Moonlight! We were both raised by the devil's sister. Yeah. So, anyway, like I said, I can swim. I just don't enjoy it because Mom tried to drown me. Yeah, he walked out into the backyard where we had this little doughboy pool and said, "What are you doing?" Well, the last thing she wanted was a witness, so she couldn't say that, oh, she went in the pool without anybody watching her. And by the time I found her, she was dead. A little bit of Munchausen's by proxy. You'll find it occasionally a parent, usually a mother, will deliberately make a child sick so she can be the martyr who has a sick child. It's a psychiatric condition. You can find it in the manual. I keep forgetting what they call the manual. Psychiatric something. They usually refer to it by the first letters in the words. A DSM, Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, DSM, and it'll have a number after it. I think they're on 5 now. Every time they revise it, they give it a new number. I know it was in DSM 3. I think maybe Stephen King knew my mother and that based Carrie's mother on her. She died at age 50, and we're sure it was suicide. She'd been researching untraceable poisons, and she did not write murder mysteries. Yes, thank you, Philip. DSM, Diagnostic and Statistical Manual. Well, I used to watch or on TV or listen on radio to Dr. Gene Scott, and he said his ex-wife was the devil's sister. So I stole that from him. Mom was the devil's sister. I'll tell you, those of us who survived such things, well, we have empathy for those who are still suffering. We have found ways to deal with it and not spread the poison to others. We don't allow people to trigger us. At least I do my best not to. Makes my life easier. Um, Mom didn't want me to be chronically ill because then she might have to take care of me. But boy, she wanted me dead. Well, I just was too stubborn and ornery, and I didn't want to be the glamour girl. I wanted cowboy boots and a horse and blue jeans, and she wanted to dress me up in frilly frocks and have me be all dainty. Well, I looked a little dainty, but okay, the International Classification of Diseases, according to Philip, does not separate mind and body. Yeah, your mind can do a lot of things to your body and the other way around. A physical illness can make you depressed or angry or nervous, anxious. You need, the way I see my body is that it's this wonderful animal that carries me through this life and bears my burdens and sorrows and suffering. It's a marvelous animal, and I should love it and take good care of it. But at the end of life, when my body dies, I expect to go on living. I don't know what's on the other side. I'm not all that anxious to find out, but I have no problem with growing old. It's what we do. Oh, Rodeo Princess does both those, including the fancy clothes. Yeah, I would have loved to dress up like Dale Evans. Mom wanted to dress me up like a beauty queen, like Shirley Temple or Elizabeth Taylor. Although Elizabeth Taylor did movies where she wore jeans and rode horses, like National Velvet. I wanted to be more like, oh, I forgot another name. The original Parent Trap, Haley Mills. Mom wouldn't let me have jeans because girls don't wear jeans. Many things I wanted to do as a child, girls can't do that. Only boys do that. Like I was breaking some sacred commandment because I wanted to wear jeans and climb a tree and play with toy trucks, not dolls and tea sets. I don't think it was all that widespread in our community. It was my mother's thing. I always wore dresses to school because you had to. Oh well, I've been on for nearly 2 hours. 155, 156. Anyway, now that I've found my box of cookbooks, I will be selecting recipes and I'll try to do videos where I cook things from those books. Okay, Philip says the English killed Joan of Arc for putting her pants back on. That's what she was ultimately convicted of. Gotta be careful when you say pants. In England, that's underwear. Uh, what we call pants are slacks, dungarees, capris, jeans. Apparently, the English do know that Americans say napkin, and sometimes they do too for serviettes. But nappies or napkins are diapers. Britches, then. LOL. Yeah. Well, slacks or dungarees or breeches, whatever, go back centuries. And in China, it was women wore, I guess you might call them bloomers, but they were basically slacks under their dresses or with tunics. Oh, thank you, Moonlight. That's so sweet. I know it says Licht, but that's just the German word for light. Moon is Mond, M-O-N-D. And the Germans, like the Japanese, say the moon is male and the sun is female. Here in America and in England and Canada, the sun is male and the moon is female. So it's der Mond, M-O-N-D. Oswald says a lot of third worlders have been romanticizing wearing jeans for decades. Oh, yeah. In Germany, the language has a lot of English words, but they're mostly brand names like Levi's and Coca-Cola. Well, I think television is part of the reason why wearing jeans is such a thing, because they never had anything quite like it. Oh, yeah. Jason, I also went to a Baptist elementary school. My oldest brother got expelled for wearing jeans instead of slacks. It was all he had. He got a summer job and bought his own school clothes. And he got some denim jeans and some corduroy jeans. And then the school insisted he had to wear slacks, like half a suit, half a business suit, the slacks. See you, Moonlight. I'll be signing off soon myself. Okay, what did Jason lose? I missed something. I can't scroll up any farther, sorry. But I gotta get going too. Jason's still making jokes. Air Jordans were such a stupid gimmick. Oh, he lost his elementary education. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you how screwed up my Baptist elementary school was. I was in the school choir and the Sunday school choir, and I gave up half my lunch hour to study music appreciation, and I got a C in music. But the deacon's daughter, who couldn't carry a tune, got an A because she sang the solo in our Christmas pageant. And she was horrible, and the rest of us knew it. Yeah, we were 11 years old, but we knew she sucked. But her father was a deacon in the church. Christine Doney singing Oh Holy Night. Oh, God, she was bad. Oh, Jason, they let you wear corduroys. Didn't let the boys. Oh, my older brother was in their high school while I was in elementary, the Baptist high school, Heritage High. Uh, they wouldn't even let him wear corduroys. Strange grading system.